his patting and went back to his pint. Both men gazed into their drinks for a few minutes, as if all the answers would be found in the amber depths. "What she needs is a man." Jimmy's abrupt observation drew another rude snort, this one even louder.
"How do you suggest? She's not interested in anyone. Says there's no one in Dartmouth she'd give house room to, and believe me, I've tried. When she's not giving me grief, she spends all her time in that bloody gallery with all those airy-fairy types. Can't imagine any one of them climbing her rigging. Not one set of balls between 'em."
Jimmy chuckled at the Admiral's description of Tory's testosterone-challenged male friends.
"She's not ugly, though,"
Charles Shackleford mused, still staring into his drink.
"She might have an arse the size of an aircraft carrier, but she's got her mother's top half, which balances it out nicely."
She's built a bit broad across the beam," Jimmy agreed, nodding his head.
"And then there's this bloody film crew. I haven't told her yet."
Jimmy frowned at the abrupt change of subject and shot a puzzled glance over to the Admiral. "Film crew? What film crew?" Charles Shackleford looked back irritably.
"Come on, Jimmy, get a grip. I'm talking about that group of Nancys coming to film at the house next month. I must have mentioned it."
Jimmy simply shook his head in bewilderment. Frowning at his friend's obtuseness, the Admiral went on.
"You know, what's that bloody film they're making at the moment? The big blockbuster everyone's talking about."
"What, you mean The Bridegroom?"
"That's the one. Seems like they were looking for the large house overlooking the River Dart. I think they were hoping for Greenway, Agatha Christie's place, but then they spied the Admiralty and said it was spot on. Paying me a packet they are. Coming next week."
Jimmy stared at his former commanding officer with something approaching pity. "And you've arranged all this without telling Tory?"
"None of her bloody business,"
the Admiral blustered, banging his now empty pint glass on the bar and waving at the barmaid for a refill.
"She's out most of the time anyway."
Jimmy shook his head in disbelief. "When are you going to tell her?"
"Well, I was going to do it this morning, but then this business with Mabel came up, so I scarpered. Last I saw, she was taking that bloody little mongrel of hers out for a walk, hoping she'll walk off her temper."
His tone indicated he considered there was more likelihood of hell freezing over. "Is Noah Westbrook coming?" said Jimmy, suddenly sensing a bit of gossip he could pass on to Emily.
"Noah who?"
was the Admiral's bewildered response. "Noah Westbrook! Come on, sir, you must know him. He's the most famous actor in the world. Women go completely gaga over him. If nothing else, that should make Tory happy." The Admiral stared at him thoughtfully.
"Oh, what's he look like, this Noah chappie?"
The barmaid, who had been unashamedly listening to the whole conversation, couldn't contain herself any longer, and thrusting a glossy magazine under the Admiral's nose, said breathlessly, "Like this, he looks like this." The full-colour photograph was that of a naked man lounging on a sofa with only a towel protecting his modesty, together with the caption, "Noah Westbrook, officially voted the sexiest man on the planet." Admiral Charles Shackleford stared pensively down at the picture in front of him.
"So, this Noah chap, he's in this film, is he?"
"He's got the lead role." The barmaid actually twittered, causing the Admiral to look up in irritation. Bloody woman must be 50 if she was a day. Shooting her a withering look, he went back to the magazine and read the beginning of the article inside.
"Noah Westbrook is to be filming in the southwest of England over the next month, causing a sudden flurry of bookings to hotels and guest houses in the South Devon area."
The Admiral continued to stare at the photo, the germination of an idea tiptoeing around the edges of his brain. Glancing up, he discovered he was the subject of scrutiny from not just the barmaid, but now the whole pub was waiting with bated breath to hear what he was going to say next. The Admiral's eyes narrowed as the beginnings of a plan slowly began taking shape, but he needed to keep it under wraps. Looking around at his rapt audience, he feigned nonchalance.
"I don't think Noah Westbrook was mentioned at all in the correspondence. I think he must be filming somewhere else."
Then, without saying anything further, he downed the rest of his drink and climbed laboriously off his stool.
"Coming, Jimmy. In pickles."
His tone was deceptively casual, which fooled Jimmy not at all, and sensing something momentous afoot, the smaller man swiftly finished his pint. In his haste to follow the Admiral out of the door, he only narrowly avoided falling over Pickles, who, completely unappreciative of the need for urgency, was sitting in the middle of the floor scratching unconcernedly behind his ear. Once outside, the Admiral didn't bother waiting for his dog, secure in the knowledge that someone would let the elderly spaniel out before he got too far down the road. Instead, he took hold of Jimmy.